I did make the statement that I will stand behind the farmers of King Island, and I'm true to my word.
It's quite an exercise to get hay over there.
Especially to come through the heads there and know we made it without any dramas.
It's probably the biggest barbecue that we've ever put on, the most people that we've had to feed.
How do we put them onto trucks? How many trucks can we source? What are the size of the trucks?
The old saying is, what goes around comes around. In 2020, the King Island Lions Club, together with many volunteers, decided to help the farmers on mainland Australia who are badly affected by drought and bushfires. They asked the local farmers if they could each donate 10 bales of hay. In no time, they'd collected 700 bales of hay and silage and raised $10,000 to help cover shipping costs. Need for Feed Australia, an organisation started in 2006 by the Lions Club of Pakenham in Victoria and is now a nationwide charity, picked up the rest of the cost. Eastern Line Shipping's vessel, the Statesman, transported the precious load to the port of Welshpool in Victoria. 4 years later, in 2024, King Island has experienced its driest summer and autumn since the early 1900s. Lush green paddocks turned into dry desert land, farmers destocked cattle, and the lack of feed and heading into winter was a significant concern. With the help of Facebook, Need for Feed coordinator Graham Cockrell was alerted about the situation on King Island.
We actually shared on our Facebook page, Need for Feed Australia, we shared on our Facebook page in mid-February, which is it came up as a memory from 4 years ago, and we thought that's a pretty good thing to share. And within hours, we were getting comments on our post that King Island needs it back. So we followed that up. We still had a few contacts over there. Greg Morris, one of the farmers, who was one of the instigators, and Linda Payne from their Lions Club over there. So we contacted them, and yeah, sure enough, the story was true. And so that's how long ago was that? 3 months or something like that. And it's probably taken the whole 3 months to put together. It's quite an exercise to get hay over there.
The King Island Lions were surprised when Need for Feed called.
They rang us up and were only too pleased to pay us back for how we helped them before. And also other Lions clubs in Tasmania, we have helped when they've had floods or other disasters, and they've been the first people to ring up and say, we know you're in trouble, you helped us, we want to pay you back. And that's just a really nice feeling. What goes around comes around.
Although Need for Feed has years of experience delivering feed to farmers, delivering to a boat and bringing it across the rough Bass Strait is a different challenge.
Besides it being on a boat, you can't just take agricultural product into Tasmania. It has to go through biosecurity. We have, on the mainland, we have weeds and pests that they don't have over there. So it has to be tested and approved and notices to import like as if it was going overseas.
For Eastern Line Shipping, this was also a different exercise. While the shipping company is used to loading containers and cattle trailers, this load required a different approach.
A lot more people involved in loading the boats this time round due to the amount of hay that we have actually got on the vessel, and a lot more people there that are actually involved with the logistics side of things as well. We had load plans done before we even started loading, and we like to keep the load plan adhered to the load plan due to stability, and we have to factor in the rough weather that's we're looking at coming over.
To help the farmers of King Island, Eastern Line Shipping decided to transport the feed at below cost.
King Island is a large part of our business, and one of the things I've always said is, when King Island was and is in the drought back in early September and that, I did make the statement that I will stand behind the farmers of King Island, and I'm true to my word.
A different kind of load and the rough conditions in Bass Strait required some seamanship.
By 10 o'clock, The winds had whipped up to about 30 knots, and sea was building. About 2 o'clock in the morning, it was pretty rough. But luckily, we were expecting more of a southerly wind, which would have been beam on, which would have made us roll a bit more. Fortunately, it was more of a headwind, which slowed us down a bit, but we sort of worked our way around the top down into the island. Got a bit of a good run this morning, later in the morning, and yeah, it was good.
The wind and swell were not the only worries for the captain.
There was a lot of spray coming over the bow, so I got a fair bit of saltwater splash. There was a fair bit of rain as well later in the evening, so it got a freshwater splash. What we noticed was that a lot of the hay bales, which had been hard up together, had moved aside. What I was concerned about was the stability of the vessel with moisture build up in the hay. But that all worked out good. So I was very happy, especially to come through the heads there and know we made it.
Just before lunch, a group of volunteers started to unload the King Islander and load trucks and trailers. A significant logistical exercise had begun. King Island Lions and the recently established local drought coordinators got into action.
So we started working with Need for Feed probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and that included sorting distribution of not only the vast quantity that we have coming in from Victoria now, but also quantities from Tasmania. We've had 2.5 loads in from Tassie, plus we've had another 2 loads yet to come, plus we've had pallets from Tassie, and then this allocation that's a serious allocation out of Victoria that we were working to 770 bales initially and 200 pallets coming in. So we had to, using the Need for Feed allocations, work out how we distribute that across every person on the island that had applied. So that took a lot of working through who gets what and how we do that within the rations that they were given, basically. And then we sat down and started working, well, how do we make them tie in to transporting, particularly for today's load? Like, how do we put them onto trucks? How many trucks can we source? What are the size of the trucks?
In true King Island fashion, many people volunteered to help the drought coordinators and the Lions.
There's something really nice about, Abby and I were only commenting the other day, I think about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, a range of people across the island got a text message saying, can you come in and volunteer with us tomorrow from lunchtime for an hour, and then make a whole heap of phone calls for us. The only people that said no were people that were flying away, were off the island or couldn't do it. Everyone else responded, said, yep, they dropped what they were doing, they came in, they did the phone calls, and they turned them around within hours.
Another logistical exercise was looking after the people at the Port of Grassy. During the 10-hour unloading, the many volunteers needed a feed and drink. A task you can leave in the good hands of the Lions.
It's probably the biggest barbecue that we've ever put on, the most people that we've had to feed, a lot of unknown about how many people to feed, whether the boat was going to get in, but we've been very pleased to be a part of an amazing team that has put together all the food, lots of food donations from the public. The butcher shop has supplied meat. We have steaks, hamburgers, sausages, egg and bacon rolls, lots of things we don't normally do at a Lions barbecue. And we've been very happy to feed all the wharfies, the truckies, the Tasports crew, the media, the public, anybody who's come down to have a look at this wonderful day. We've been very pleased to feed.
It was also a wonderful day for the cattle of King Island. Their feed was delivered by nearly every truck and semi available on the island. As a token of appreciation and support, King Island RTV produced a social media commercial for Need for Feed Australia and wrote a song about the event. What goes around, comes around.
Flooding, bushfires, drought. Need for Feed comes to the rescue to feed your animals. They could not do this without your donations. Why not help our farmers? Why not support Need for Feed? For more information, go to needforfeed.org. Let's get united.
Let's get united. Help those who need. Let's get united. Bring them some feed. Land of green lush paddocks has been hit by a